seen a rapid growth in various sectors and is at the threshold of a digital revolution. A number of industries have adapted to the technological change and have witnessed an optimum turnover over the years. Do Big Symposium, presented by Tata Docomo Business Services and powered by CNBC TV18, focuses on this technological change that can empower industry leaders in the SME sector across all verticals such as finance, human resources, marketing and many more to reap maximum profits for a business. With the theme Digital Dividend, a leader's perspective, Do Big Symposium continued its journey across the country and visited Pune and Kochi with the industry experts to highlight the impact of digital integration in businesses. Let's take a look at the significant points discussed at the Pune edition.
If you go through the terminologies, innovation, efficiency and inclusion, you put all these three together, or if you put information, communication, entertainment, or you talk about technology, media, telecom, or you also talk about Aadhaar, Jandan and mobility. If you take all these three things in each group, the kind of convergence is happening. I think that is the real dividend of digital world. And everybody is really taking benefit of that. Touching and cutting across all walks of life, whether it is automobile, today it is like a computer on wheels, autonomous vehicles, retail, hospitality, you name a word, healthcare, gaming, education, energy, sound, films, e-commerce, media, newspaper. Almost everywhere you find that digital technology is touching and giving an opportunity for a lot of talent and entrepreneurs to take their pick, develop something and come out with flying colors.
Should I do digital or not? Is digital limited to only one or two industries, e-commerce, music, or does it pervade all industries? It doesn't matter whether you're in retail, logistics, manufacturing, banking. And when we asked people around, we asked some of you, we asked people in other cities, and what did they say? There was no longer a question of whether digital impacts only one or two industries. The overwhelming response was digital is going to pervade every industry and it's going to impact industries in either a radical way or a moderate way. And this is what some of you said last year. About 1,600 CXOs, CIOs last year talked about how digital is going to make an impact to their industry, and here is what they said. So as you can see, between 60% of CXOs believed that it's going to make a radical change in their industry, 30% said it's going to be moderate. But pretty much the summary of that conversation was it's going to impact, and we better brace up, we better create a cogent strategy so that we make sure that we're not getting swept by, as somebody said, somebody sitting in a dorm room creating a product and taking it out of business. We also asked the CXOs as to what's driving this change, what's driving you to adopt digital. And this is what we heard from our CEOs and CXOs across 7 cities. 60% of them said operational efficiency is going to drive me to adopt digital in my industry or my company, whereas about a third of them said it's going to be customer connect. Personally, I believe customer connect is going to be probably the single largest factor that will drive digital adoption across industries.
Do Big Symposium brings forth the perspective of renowned leaders on digital dividends, and the panel at Pune consisted of V. Ramnath, MD, Racold, Saurav Mishra, COO and co-founder, Webinize Labs, Prashant Nayak, CEO, Yazaki, India. Prateek Pashine, President, Tata Docomo Business Services.
You've had an interesting career seeing a great technology brand and seeing the risks associated with it as well. You know, when you move to slightly more traditional manufacturing setup, which is also could be potentially disrupted by new technologies like IoT, how do you get board buy-in right from the top to sort of really look at, you know, potential threats and competitors, and of course what the digital dividend could be for a traditionally non-tech company like yours?
In a country like India, where the physical infrastructure is challenged, I think digital infrastructure more than makes up for it. Thanks to digital, today I can access any market, any consumers, you know, sitting inside my room. As somebody said, as Mr. Pramod said, you know, somebody could be the DOM somewhere and quietly working behind you and you don't even know what it is. It is not prohibitively expensive. And the best part of digital is your success is fast, your failure is also fast.
You see more people taking this approach that let's look at disrupting our core business model itself?
Absolutely. And I think companies, we've seen companies that have challenged their own business models. And typically that has happened by market leaders. Market leaders who have challenged their core business, their main line of business, have become more successful compared to the guys who said, boss, this is my bread and butter, I don't want to touch it.
Prashant, your experiences, auto, you're looking at an industry where now we were talking about, Mr. Chaudhary was talking about top 5 market cap companies in the world. If you look at private listings, Uber is probably the world's largest auto company without a single car. Could be potential clients for you someday. How are companies like yours looking at this whole digital dividend piece?
I think it's also important to try and figure out how this digital dividends will not end up becoming a digital divide from a professional point of view. From the business point of view that you said, I think it's very exciting. I think you can make your business really hop, skip and jump if you're able to get the digital disruption right. So for me in auto, I see a lot of noise around autonomous driving. I am not completely convinced that you will have this change happen the way it is talked about. But my biggest struggle for running a company where we have around 8,000 people, people are really scared about what it means.
Jobs we didn't believe were possible would make up to a large extent, or maybe there'll just be more free time for everybody and we have to rethink some of these things like UBI, which lots of universal basic income, which lots of Silicon Valley billionaires are talking about as well.
I don't believe that if there is a technology, you need a technology adoption team. Whoever forced you to adopt WhatsApp? Was somebody ever here forced to adopt WhatsApp? No. We adopted it naturally because we saw the benefit of it. I mean, we can talk about technology all day long, but when your teammates, when your employees are not adopting the technology, what's the point? What have you built really? Right? I mean, you can just pull up any traditional ERP software with a blue and white screen and your people are just manipulating around the system. They don't want to use it, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, before we wrap up this panel, let's have a big round of applause for our panelists. Thanks for such a great panel. Fun actually sort of interact today in a digital way.
Technology played an important role at the symposiums as the guests were asked to participate through the Do Big app and answer 3 questions. The response for each question asked at the Pune Symposium was as follows. Do you have a digital vision and strategy that is communicated and known to all employees? Yes, 74%. No, 26%. Do you see your organization appointing a Chief Digital Officer, CDO, in the next 12 months? Yes, 48%. No, 37%. Already have a CDO, 16%. What stage of digital strategy implementation are you at? Not yet started, 16%. Initial stages, 63%. Well advanced, 21%. After the break, we take a look at the highlights of the Kochi edition. Stay tuned.
20% of them have hired or are hiring a Chief Digital Officer.
Do Big Symposium continued its journey across the country and visited Kochi with industry experts to highlight the impact of digital integration in businesses. Here is a glimpse of the Kochi edition.
in a traditional industry like plantations. I will take you through our engagement across functions, some trends in the industry, and of course the challenges and opportunities. We have recently been doing some work with digital farming initiatives of TCS Innovation Labs in the use of drones for pest and disease surveillance and also pest and disease control with a view to gain greater accuracy, efficiency and cost saving. We also been looking at using drones for what we call a harvest audit, largely to do with what you're harvesting, what you're leaving behind after harvest, because these factors impact both the output and the quality. The pain areas there being weather. When you have a cloud cover, the drones are not as efficient as they should be, and of course the presence of shade trees, these drones have to maneuver. In terms of finance, we have been using for some time now ERP based on Microsoft Dynamics AX 212 implemented by PwC, which helps us monitor daily cost and weekly profits from all our profit centers, which are basically our plantation and factory units. It helps us track daily cash flow. And of course, for some time now we've been using cloud, which has helped in terms of server redundancy. We use typically broadband connectivity for these services.
All over the world, India is the cheapest in healthcare. In entire India, I am the cheapest, and my balance sheet produces 40% profitability. And we have a 25% compounded annual growth, which means recently I went for an IPO. IPO was in April, and my IPO, I didn't know what is my value. I thought my value must be 200 crore. Everybody came and told it is 400 crore. I didn't believe. Then people concluded that is 800 crore. I found it too much. Then it went to 1600 crore. I celebrated, and when it got listed, it is 3200 crore. All success is only because of the digitization of my business. I'm far ahead in this space. I am a McDonald's, and I don't think I will rest till I get into US. And show them that these kind of technologies we can do it better. And I am a front-end pathology and a back-end IT company. And we have a redundancy for all servers, all bandwidths, everything. The connectivity is as powerful as an umbilical cord connectivity between the mother and the child. And our connectivity between the company and the me is equally that sensitive.
What we're seeing is the emergence of what we call as a chief digital officer. And you will see across companies, and this example tells you that from a museum to an educational institute to manufacturing to healthcare, companies are creating this title, the chief digital officer, who's driving the digital agenda for this company. So they're creating a separate unit, identifying a chief digital officer to drive these initiatives. All these companies that you see have a chief digital officer, and more importantly, India is not behind, but India is actually leading the chief digital officer phenomenon. 20% of Indian companies today have a CDO compared to about 9% globally. So clearly the recognition that I need to have a leader who will drive the digital agenda is very much there in the companies, and a good 20% of them have hired or are hiring a chief digital officer. And again, look at the companies from hospitality group to banking to fabric to tires. You have it all. Companies across the value chain, across industries recognize the importance of a chief digital officer.
Dubik Symposium brings forth the perspective of renowned leaders on digital dividends, and the panel at Kochi consisted of Meera Haridas, Head Marketing, Mannapuram Finance; K.V. Vinaya Rajan, CEO, SB Global; Arokya Swami Velumani, Founder, Chairman and MD, Thyrocare Technologies; Narendranath Dharmaraj, Whole-Time Director and CEO, Harisans Malayalam; Prateek Pashine, President, Tata Docomo Business Services.
Mr. Dharmaraj, are you using out-of-the-box solutions or custom-made solutions, and how are you balancing that choice? Or do you use a combination of the two? Because you said you're looking at reducing redundancy on Excel, getting rid of MIS. So how are you going about it?
Yes, that's a transformation we are going through. We have been going with traditional systems so far, but we're hitting a plateau there because we believe that we are unable to fully generate live financial information-based MIS. So that's precisely the point where we're looking at customized solutions to do away completely with this Excel-based data crunching.
Right. Prateek, quick question from you. We've got Mustafa Walapil who's saying that what you are talking in terms of separate departments or strengthening the CIO office is relevant to big companies, but how do SMEs afford this? How can they implement and manage digitalization without access to, highly skilled manpower?
SME earlier would never think of, saying, I'm okay with Cochin, I don't know whether I want to expand to Kerala, or I'm okay with Kerala, I don't know whether I want to expand to to have a national footprint. It's actually digital tools and technologies that have enabled a small medium enterprise to dream big. So I think you should, I would say all the forces of nature are working for you to make small medium enterprise actually compete with large enterprise because of these digital tools.
How do schools take in new technology while still promoting traditional approaches like reading books?
Anything what man can do can be done by computer. So,
except reading doctors' prescriptions.
Oh,
no AI can do that.
Even that can be because you educate that computer about that doctor's horrible writing that will over a period of time learn. Coming back to SMEs and should invest, is it costly? Like how in a balance sheet we give expenditure heads, raw material cost, HR cost, electricity, we need to have something known as IT cost. If you don't give a provision there, less likely you will grow big. So I think this is somewhere SMEs have to take a call. If I invest today, tomorrow will be a huge return for my investments.
How do you overcome resistance from the not so digital friendly employees? There are lots in his, this is from Hari Kumar, who says, within the organization, there is some pushback against digitalization practices.
The organizations have very actively taken in terms of educating employees. And after 2000, CBS, which came in to the banks in the 2008
core banking.
Yes, core banking. There has been no hitches. People have just moved. And now, actually, there's been a conscious effort also to reduce the age because of the demographic dividend. The digital dividend is actually gaining more mileage.
So, Vinarajan, Diljot Davis is asking that while learning has gone to the next level, what do you think you need to do to popularize digital learning?
Today, we wanted to have a department for that from IT called out like it's a digital department. They need to be trained on the requirements. There is a QP builder using again the software and digital media where we can give the inputs that will create the content for it and provide to us. It's all quick. We don't have time to spend a lot of time to create curriculum or content.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'll have to wrap up because we're completely running out of time. So a big round of applause to our panelists.
Technology played an important role at the symposiums as the guests were asked to participate through the Do Big app and answer 3 questions. The response for each question asked at the Kochi Symposium was as follows. Do you have a digital vision and strategy that is communicated and known to all employees? Yes, 68%. No, 32%. Do you see your organization appointing a Chief Digital Officer, CDO, in the next 12 months? Yes, 35%. No, 50%. Already have a CDO, 15%. What stage of digital strategy implementation are you at? Initial stages, 63%. Well advanced, 25%. not yet started 8%. Do join us next week in Hyderabad as Do Big Symposium presented by Tata Docomo Business Services and powered by CNBC TV18 continues its journey in a bid to highlight the significance of digital integration in today's businesses.
Focus, ideate, innovate, enable.